Thank you, Congresswoman. Good morning, everyone. Great to be with Congressman Kildee, Senator Stabenow, and a great group of members from across the country. As we talk about PFAS contamination, this is an issue that impacts every single state, every single congressional district. It's an emerging issue, and I'm very proud to be a part of a bipartisan PFAS task force in the House that is helping draw attention to this concern and coming up with legislative remedies to protect the health and safety of Americans all across our nation. And this particular bill is an important one. It's an important day for veterans across this country to say that we have their backs, that we're willing to do what it takes to honor their service and to make sure that they get access to the health care that they need and deserve. My district contains the former Pease Air Force Base, which is now home to the Air National Guard and a bustling trade port. Pease is an economic engine for my state, also provides critical support for our military, including a fleet of refueling tankers. It's also the site of well-documented PFAS contamination of groundwater. Several wells on the base or adjacent to it have registered high levels of PFAS compounds, and it's suspected, obviously, that firefighting foam played a critical part in that contamination and was exposure that has reached back decades to both military families and civilian population near the base. For the past 5 years, military families who were based at Pease have been organizing and they've been fighting very hard to secure blood testing and demand answers. They know what the scientific data says, that PFAS is a serious public health threat, that exposure is linked to chronic health conditions, including cancer, and they also know that these contaminants are dangerous even at far lower levels than the EPA's current health advisory recommends. We must take care of our veterans and their families who sacrificed for us, and in doing so, we're exposed to PFAS. And that's why I'm proud to join a bipartisan coalition of members in the House and Senate to introduce the Vet PFAS Act. This legislation provides a presumption of service connection for veterans and will cover a variety of chronic conditions, including cancer, as well as those that are determined to be linked by an ongoing study at the CDC. The legislation recognizes that we all have a collective responsibility to meet the healthcare needs of our veterans and their families. Some have waited far too long for meaningful action on this issue, and many more may not even realize that they have been exposed or that there's a serious long-term health threat to themselves or their families. The Vet PFAS Act renews the solemn obligation we have to those who have selflessly served the rest of us and will improve their health and well-being, and we must pass it into law. We must continue to insist on a stronger response across the board from the EPA and the federal government that insists on lower maximum contaminant levels, that invest in cleanup efforts, make sure that testing is available to individuals who need it, and make sure that we provide up-to-date health information and scientific data to the public. I'm eager to work with this group and members across the Congress to make sure that we pass this Vet PFAS Act into law and that we lift up the work of our bipartisan PFAS task force to address emerging health concerns all across this country. Thank you, and with that, I'd like to bring up Congresswoman Dean from Pennsylvania.